In Lesson 8.5, we're going to talk about circumference and area of a circle. So let's talk about the different formulas and parts of the formulas. So circumference is pi times the diameter. And diameter is the whole length across. Okay, so this is the diameter. All the way across is the diameter. Halfway across is called the radius. That's a D, which is half of the diameter. Okay, so the formula for circumference is circumference equals pi times diameter, or you could say circumference equals 2 pi r, since 2 times the radius is the diameter. The area of a circle is the product, which means multiply, of pi and the square, which means the little power of 2, of the radius. So A equals pi times the radius squared. You can think of this as cherry pie is delicious. Apple pies are too. Cherry pie is delicious. Apple pies are too. Or you can think C and D come next to each other in the alphabet, so they go in the same formula. And the word area has an A and an R, so A and R go in the same formula. Whatever helps you remember, but you do need to remember the difference. So circumference is the length around the edge of a circle. It's like the perimeter. But perimeter, you would add up all the sides. A circle doesn't have any sides, so the circle needs its own formula. Now pause the video if you need to before scrolling down, because I'm going to have to scroll down to fill in pi. So what is pi? Pi is a number. It's about 3.14. That occurs when you divide any circle's circumference by the length of its diameter. So this neat number that shows up no matter how big or small your circle is. If you do the circumference divided by the diameter, you're always going to get this magical number pi, no matter how big or small your circle is. It's kind of neat. So now, pause the video if you need to fill that in before we try some examples. Okay, so let's find the circumference of a circle. So we're going to do this given two different things. Here, we're given the radius, and here we're given the diameter. See, radius only goes halfway across, diameter goes all the way across. So if you're given just the radius, you can either use the 2 pi r formula and then just plug in the radius that you have, or you can double this number because we know that diameter is 2 times the radius, so that would be 18. And you can just use 18 pi, which is the same if you just do the 2 and the 9 multiplied together in the formula anyway. Now we're going to leave it as 18 pi yards. Now remember, this is like perimeter, so I don't touch the units. It's 18 pi yards. But if you use a calculator and you do 18 times 3.14, you're going to get a number that's about 56.5. We don't have a calculator, so we're going to leave everything in what's called pi form. It's less work and it looks nicer. So if you're given the diameter, just use pi times diameter, which is pi times 40. And again, you can leave your answer as 40 pi, which is what we're going to do. But if you do 40 times 3.14, or if you have a fancier calculator, there's actually a pi button. And you'll get something that's about 125.7. Okay, so pause the video before moving on. Okay, so now we're going to find the area of a circle. And they give you the diameter, and they ask, what is the area? Well, remember that area is pi r squared. Okay, now if they give you the diameter, you need the radius for this formula, so you need to cut the diameter in half. So if the diameter is 28, the radius will be half of that, which is 14. So that's what I'll plug 14 in for the radius. 14 squared is 14 times 14, which is 196. So we'll say 196 pi. Now we're going to keep it as 196 pi centimeters squared because it's area. But if you use a calculator and round to the nearest 10, you will get something that's close to 615.8. Okay. So now you're going to try the quick checks, and then we'll check your work in class.